Welcome to Wild Bill's Media and the Arts podcast. Another episode here. I wanted to talk to you today about John Cusack's The Raven. But before I get into this, I wanted to tell everybody about the October Halloween horror series. I'm going to be recording and premiering a video every week for the month of October. For doing horror movies. I got some really cool stuff I think I've got planned for you guys to check out. So they'll premiere once a week for the whole month of October. And, because I know October is a big holiday for a lot of people. And, the whole month of October and this time of the year and everything. And so, yeah, I just figured, I'd do that for people. Now, I've always loved the horror movie genre, more so when I was younger, in my teens, early 20s, maybe mid 20s. And then the genre just kind of went blah. You know what I'm saying? And there haven't been a lot of great stuff come out. Now, I have to defend some of the stuff because some of it is what it is. Some of it's remakes, some of it's originals, but it is what it is. But I want to talk to you today about kind of a little known movie that's probably not on many people's radar list, and that's okay because sometimes I think movies like this are really great movies, and they're underrated for a reason. And, they're just those gems that you don't find everywhere. And that is The Raven with John Cusack. Now, this movie is sort of kind of hard to explain. So I'm going to do my best and explain what this movie is about. Okay. This movie, everybody knows that on October 3rd, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe was found on a park bench in Baltimore, kind of delirious, sick, kind of out of his mind. People really didn't know what was wrong with him. He was, taken to the hospital. He was that way for about 4 days. And then on October the 7th, 1849, he passed away. But the only name that he kept mentioning the whole time was a guy named Reynolds. So, go from there, right? Okay, well, this movie sort of kind of is a fictional adaptation of what people think might could have happened in the last few days or the last week or so of Edgar Allan Poe's life. Now, this movie, you're talking to a guy whose favorite author in the whole world is Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, with the second strong Stephen King. Okay, so my two favorite writers are probably the two biggest writers ever in the world. Okay, now I've done as much research and reading as I can on Poe. I've watched a few documentaries and everything. And these documentaries are not like just thrown together by like just people. They were really good done documentaries, okay, by people who knew what they were doing. All right. So I know a good bit about Poe, and I respect Poe's writing. I respect Poe's life and what he was doing and his death and everything like that, because eventually someday I want to go to I've been to the Edgar Allan Poe Museum in Richmond, Virginia. I want to go again. I'm also a member of the I'm a member. I can get into the Edgar Allan Poe museum for free, and I get discounts and stuff on the website when you go to order stuff. Anyway, none of that matters. I want to go to the grave and visit Edgar Allan Poe someday. So, and I know this is kind of getting off track, but what I'm trying to say is I'm a huge Poe fan, but I love this movie. And a lot of people out here kind of like, oh, well, this is not a true adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's life and what he was doing and all this. It's not meant to be. It's a fictional take on what people think of Edgar Allan Poe or what might have happened during those last few days of his life. Okay, that's just like me, right? I'm planning on writing, and someday when I get off my ass and do it, I'm doing a version of who I think Jack the Ripper was and why he maybe became the person he was, or why he got away with so many murders without even really, you know, being a, anybody really being a true suspect. Okay, there's a lot of theories out there, but I don't think it's ever been proven and been solved. So you could take a true event and true life and put a fictional spin on it and make it what it is. And I mean, a lot of people's lives have been done that way. I mean, you look at a lot of this is based on true events. Well, people Hollywood shit up to the point to where it's, it's not even really what, I mean, some of the events may have happened and some things in the movie are true and all this stuff, but some of the stuff that happened around it is all made up and shit. It's made for movie magic. Well, so basically the plot of this movie is the movie comes on and you see like a carriage going down this wet cobblestone street or whatever, and you hear the screaming, okay? It comes on with an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's Murders from the Rue Morgue, okay? So these cops go in, they find this family murdered, no suspect, no blocks, the windows and doors are locked and all that stuff. Okay, so what happens is someone is going around and recreating the murders of stories that Edgar Allan Poe writes. And to kind of set up Poe as like the fall guy or whatever, right? So there's like, was it the Masquerade Ball from the Mask of the Red Death was in it. What was it? The Pit and the Pendulum. Murders from the Rue Morgue. There were a couple more, I think, in here. I can't remember exactly which ones. It's been a little bit since I've seen the movie. And what happens is at first Poe was a suspect, and then the guy finds out that it really wasn't Poe. Somebody's trying to recreate his writing. So they get Poe to help them solve who is doing these crimes because, Poe, if not, Poe's going to be the fall guy for this. Okay, well, Poe's in love with this chick, okay? Now, this movie to me, the four main casts in this movie is John Cusack as Edgar Allan Poe, Alice Eve as Emily Hamilton, which is a made-up character as far as I know in Poe's life, Detective Fields, and Captain Charles Hamilton. Now, Charles Hamilton is the father of the guy that Poe was supposedly in love with. And there's another guy in here. His name is Sam Hazeldine. His real name is Ivan in the movie, and I think he is like the main protagonist. But anyway, so Luke Evans, Detective Fields, gets Poe to help him try to solve these mysteries by trying to guess what he's going to do next, like what like how the murders happen in the stories and all this. So then his girlfriend gets kidnapped, and basically what it about is for him to be able to save her life, he has to write a new story. And Poe hadn't written anything for a while. He was broke. He was, just kind of, barely making it and everything. And, he was down on his luck. They hadn't really published a story of his in a while. And so basically the guy that does this, it wants to get Poe to write another story, another like horror mystery. So Poe does this while he's helping solve these murders being taking place that are being done. And um, I'm not going to give you the ending of the movie because I just don't think, if I give you the ending, then people won't go watch it. But basically, it kind of shows you like how he winds up on the park bench in Baltimore, all delirious and messed up and everything. Um, After trying to help solve those murders and everything. But I think John Cusack plays an awesome Edgar Allan Poe in this movie. It's not supposed to be a movie that's supposed to be taken serious, like, oh, this is supposed to be the life of Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know on the DVD. Now, I know the Blu-ray version of this, if you can still get it, has a documentary about. Now, actually, there's several feature. There's some decent behind the scenes footage or featurettes in this movie. Some of them talk about like the making of how they created some of the stuff. But there's a really cool, probably about an hour. I would want to say maybe an hour, like documentary of Edgar Allan Poe. Let me see if I have. Give me just 1 second. Actually, fans, I do. Here's the Blu-ray version of it. That's the cover. They come with a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital copy. The only one who can stop a brutal killer is the man who imagined him. Okay, and I'm gonna give you the special features. The Raven cuts, bringing death to life. The madness, misery, and the mysteries of Edgar Allan Poe. Behind the beauty and horror of the Raven presents John Cusack and James McTighe. Music for the Raven, the Team, and there's also like a documentary of Edgar Allan Poe. Here's the Blu-ray. I have the DVD somewhere. But anyway, and it gives you the real life thing of Poe and everything, and it talks about. But it's not supposed. This movie, like there's a lot of Poe people out there, man, who just kind of like, oh man, this is like a disgrace to Poe and stuff like that. No, it's not supposed to be taken serious. You're talking to a guy who is an independent author, right? His biggest influence in his life as a writer was Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, I remember the first time I sat down and wrote and read The Raven and Annabelle Lee and The Bells and A Dream Within a Dream and some of those other, poems that just stood out to me. Who read The Pit and the Pendulum? Who read The Mask of the Red Death? Who's read just about all the Poe stories and even some that wasn't more popular that were really good stories. A guy whose literary career is pretty much based around Edgar Allan Poe knows that this movie is not real. It's supposed to be a really cool idea of what could have happened. No one knows what happened to Poe. Some people believe that it was a voting year and it was a voting times at that time, and he was some people had got him drunk, had him go to the polls and vote. They said he was found in clothes that he would not normally wear. The clothes were too big for him and everything. So they think what happened was they got him drunk, send him to these voting places to vote for these people or whatever it is. And then when they were done with him, they left him on. He was so drunk and so probably, I have a feeling he probably died from alcohol poisoning. That's what I'm thinking. He died from. I think they got him so drunk and everything that he was just, and I think there were some more things wrong with Edgar Allan Poe. And some people believe that they think he may have had a brain tumor that caused some of the things there towards the later end of his life. But that's just speculation. No one knows that for sure. But anyway, like I'm saying, it's a fun adaptation of some really cool stories in here and some really cool just seeing Poe at his lowest and everything. It's if I could tell you to go out and take this movie serious, then I would be doing Poe unjust. And I couldn't call myself a Poe fan. It is what it is. It's supposed to be for entertainment purposes. It's not to be some kind. Now, if someone had said this was a documentary of Edgar Allan Poe, then yeah, I would be one of those people who were upset, just like anybody else would be. But you can't take it seriously. I'm sorry for those people out there who are genuine Poe fans. This movie's so underrated, and John Cusack plays a hell of an Edgar Allan Poe in this. I believe that you could kind of maybe get an insight of Poe the man in this thing, of why he was so broken and so thing. Um, but you already know that if you've studied the life of Poe like I have. But all I can say is, for those people who out there who love Poe, check it out. You just go into this with an open mind. Go into this with a sense of, I'm just watching a movie for entertainment purposes. I'm not believing that this has anything to do with Edgar Allan Poe's true life or anything like that. And I think you really enjoy this movie. I've even showed this to people who wasn't Edgar Allan Poe fans and really enjoyed this movie for what it is. Just a good kind of a horror movie. There's some blood and gore in this. There's some good stuff in here. So yeah, don't take it seriously. It's not meant to be taken serious. And if you take it seriously, then there's something fucking wrong with you. Then you're not a true Poe fan or whatever. And so yeah, just that's all I have to say. And this is another episode in my October Halloween horror series. I want to give, first of all, here towards the end, I just want to give some shout outs to a couple friends of mine, Ice Pets Queen. She has some podcasts. Go check her out. Most of hers are all audio. You can find them on Spotify, wherever podcaster you listen to your podcast, that you can go find her. She's got several. I'm not going to sit here and list them all. She's got about like 9 or 10. You can find her on you now and Ice Pets Queens Radio. You can find her on YouTube. She does videos, live streams, and everything. My friend Justin has a sports podcast. My friend Caden has a podcast called the Spokane Man Podcast. So go check those out. Just support some friends of mine, and they'd appreciate that. But I just want to say happy Halloween to everybody. Happy October. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope this brings you to more of an insight of what these movies are about. So I got some more stuff coming up, hopefully. Things. So if I don't see you again, happy October. Maybe even a Merry Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. But just take it easy. And this is Wild Bill signing out of the Wild Bill's Meeting the Arts podcast. Have a great day, y'all.